But for those who stand in your way and betray you, their day of reckoning will come.
Hey everyone, welcome back with Beano Mac, where today we're going to continue our playthrough of WWE Day of Reckoning once again. Let's see what we got in store for us this week. First off, congratulations on winning the Royal Rumble. That's quite an accomplishment for such a new talent here in the WWE. Yeah, it is. Thanks, it wasn't easy, but then nobody said it would be. I can't help but notice how going separate ways with the remnants of Evolution seems to have suited you well. Yeah, now I can make my own decisions. Yeah, well, I do owe Triple H and Ric Flair some credit for helping me break in. Let's face it, they're really just a bunch of jerks. I don't mind pushing my weight around when I need to, but for the right reasons, you know? Yeah, you know. Sure, kid. In any case, now that you're the #1 contender for Triple H's World Heavyweight title at Mania, I figure that you better prepare yourself for some top level competition, starting tonight. So I'm booking you against Kane in a one-on-one match. I already beat him in a handicap match. Come on, Eric. Come on. Alright, well, he's already reversing me first move, so maybe Eric was on to something. But yeah, if you're unaware, I'll just do another recap here. So, last week, we had to prepare for the Royal Rumble, of course. We were fresh off of being kicked out of Evolution. We won the Intercontinental title at Armageddon against Randy Orton. He wanted his title back, but instead of a title match, me and Eric had a match. Or not me and Eric. Eric Bischoff made a match between me and Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell on Raw for the number 29 spot in the Royal Rumble. Of course I won that, and then I won the Royal Rumble, despite Ric Flair being number 30. And also we were, the target of like a bounty or whatever, with something that Triple H and Ric Flair set on us. We took out Kane in a handicap match with Randy Orton. We kind of embarrassed him, really. And now I guess it's kind of weird because it seems like the bounty storyline may have been dropped. I mean, maybe this is something that's going to continue. Like, we'll probably get jumped backstage, I'm sure, a few times before WrestleMania, but like, we'll see what happens. Boy, the AI in wrestling games make you, it's not just wrestling game, it can be fighting games at times too. Like, I hate reactive AIs in which, they'll make you look like a fucking moron. Like, people watching, they're probably like, oh, why are you having trouble with Kane, man? I mean, he's just fucking standing there, he's not even doing anything. Come on, man. You're getting your ass kicked? But then when you try and do something against them, they're just reversing machines. Which, Kane admittedly hasn't been like that this match, but like just him standing there not doing anything just kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, I don't know, I hate defensive AI at times. Like, if they're clever about it, sure, but yeah, if like it's just something where like it's clear as day, they don't really have much AI to attack, they're just waiting for you to do moves and stuff like that. Like, I hate it because it makes you look like such a frickin' chump. But I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority here. 1, 2, 3. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Y2J. Now that's some top level talent. We haven't taken him on yet. No cutscene though? I always thought this was a cool Titantron. I feel like this is somewhat of an underrated era of Chris Jericho. Admittedly, he didn't get to do much storyline-wise as far as, I guess I think he had a lot of potential, but I don't think they really treated him as well as they should have after, his first run as the World Heavyweight Champion, the Undisputed Champion. I mean, that whole storyline was trash for poor Chris Jericho. Just garbage. Like, he said, yeah, the storyline would be better if, like, they were saying he was sleeping with Stephanie. I don't know, man. They should have just not have had Stephanie involved at all. But, I mean, in all fairness, they did have at that point, like, a lot of success with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Kind of like the McMahon, Vince storyline, how he kept popping up into those things. I think they just kept thinking, well, it keeps working, so let's keep doing that. Because when you go back to 2000, I mean, Triple H, him and Stephanie pretty much dominated the show. Like, they were just the guys who fought. They were pretty much the faces of the company, you would think. I've been in this business a long time, and I'm getting a little tired of seeing the favoritism some guys get around here just because they're the hot new thing. It used to be that you had to earn your shots if you wanted to make it to the top, and that's something I've done time and time again. Yet, what do I see now? I see a new guy getting an Intercontinental title shot. Then I see that same guy handed the number 29 spot at the Royal Rumble on a silver platter. And now he's set up as the number 1 contender for a world title shot at WrestleMania? A contender for the title that I used to hold? Yeah, they're not very good with the rematch clause thing here in this game. But the thing is, he's never proven a thing to me. He's never, ever faced me one-on-one in this ring. So Kai, yes, I'm talking to you. I think it's about time you prove to me and the world that you're worthy. I don't care that you chose Evolution when you first joined WWE, and I don't even care that you're the GM's new ass clown. I didn't get to actually pick. Keep that in mind. I'm going to show the world that you're just a spoiled brat with a silver spoon up your ass. I should be the real number 1 contender. So I'm calling you out. You already kind of did that. Get your ass out here and face me right now, Junior. How many times was he going to say ass in one promo? So, interesting way to have the match. I think those are probably one of my favorite Jericho types, by the way. But to continue my points, from earlier about that storyline, yeah. If you go back to 2000, probably the year that a lot of people consider to be the greatest, one of the greatest years in the company of all time. Triple H, like I said, he was the guy in the company dominating. Like, The Rock was really the guy, is what I'm saying. Like, he was really the guy who was drawing the houses, and, he was the biggest babyface and all that other stuff. But as far as promo time, he would maybe get, like, promo time maybe once an episode, and he'd have, like, a match or whatever. But it never, even when he was WWF champion, it never felt like he was presented as the guy. And you could argue, Triple H, he still had a lot to prove, and they were working with Kurt Angle to get him off the car and everything like that. And since Rock was already over so much, he could do a lot less. He didn't have to be the focal point of the show, but it's still just crazy to think. Like during that time, it was kind of the Triple H and Kurt Angle show, especially when they had like the month-long storyline or months-long storyline of, Kurt Angle and Stephanie, and they didn't drop it entirely like people like to say, but yeah, they pretty much just said, yeah, well, Kurt Angle cried at the Olympics, so that must mean Kurt Angle's gay, so Triple H just didn't have to fear Kurt taking Stephanie despite the fact that Kurt kissed him. It was a really weird, stupid cop-out, but yeah, I don't know. It was just a lot of goofiness there. But even then, I mean, you look at the talent they had, Kane wasn't very well utilized during that year. Like, that's a year a lot of people think of Kane, but I mean, he really did jack shit that year, in all honesty. he had a few like world title matches. He had his feud with Undertaker at SummerSlam that kind of came out of nowhere. He had his feud with X-Pac that went on from like, I think like October of 1999 all the way to WrestleMania, so it was like 6 months long. You know, Undertaker, he came back and, you know, he did a few things with Vince McMahon at first. And I think they were going to try and do some things between him and Big Show, but they just kept getting like side railed, you know, after the fact. And, you know, Big Show came back and, you know, I guess he was considered too fat or something like that by Vince in August. So that's why I was thinking out like No Mercy and SmackDown 2. And of course, you know, I don't think Undertaker really had someone to feud with as much. I did like his feud with Kurt Angle, though, right before the Triple H feud, but it never felt like the stuff that Undertaker did during that year was very impactful until, like, the very end of the year. And, I mean, yeah, I think people exaggerate how bad the American Badass was, but I think that's because he made a very terrible first impression. Like, yeah, he sounded, his promos, the first time he opened his mouth, like, it's terrible. I'm sorry, guys. It was somewhat representative of like the culture at the time. He kind of reminded me of like a Kid Rock guy, you know, like just the way he talked. You know, I think he said that Vince McMahon thought he was all that in a bag of chips or something like that, and you know how he's gonna kick Vince's stank ass. Yeah, it's funny, but not the most legitimately intimidating or cool stuff in my opinion, which if you think it was, you know, each their own. But I think once he actually kind of had a little more time to settle into the role, and, you know, Big Evil Undertaker I thought was great, and I think it was Bully Red or Big Red, one of those things. I thought that was kind of a interesting gimmick or part of the gimmick. And yeah, I think once he actually kind of, you know, ditched Kid Rock and went with Limp Bizkit and got that rolling thing, and, you know, the Brothers of Destruction tag team, I think that's when Biker Taker was really getting good. But here I went, you know, trying to talk about Chris Jericho, and I went on this huge tangent about, you know, a bunch of different guys in 2000 and Triple H and stuff. But yeah, ooh, wow, I thought that was going to be it. But yeah, as far as Chris Jericho around this time, you know, I think he had some good moments. He still had some good promos, and obviously a lot of people still remember his WrestleMania matches. You know, like his match with Shawn Michaels, a lot of people enjoyed. That was a pretty good match. And, you know, his rivalry with Christian and the whole Trish Stratus thing. I wasn't the biggest fan of that one. But, you know, it obviously left an impression on a lot of people. A pretty good Intercontinental title feud for a lot of people as well. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we got him. But he didn't really get to shine in the world title picture as much as I would have liked him to. Uh-oh. Ric Flair has pretty much gotten the better of us anytime. Jeez. Anytime that we've been in a cutscene like this. Oh, jeez. Double damage. I gotta start wearing. Why doesn't anybody ever wear athletes cups in the WWE? You may have gotten lucky winning the Royal Rumble 2 weeks ago, but now that you're the #1 contender, you've got a bigger target on your back than ever. You think you're going to waltz right into WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all? I think I will. And have a chance against the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H? Well, think again. To be the man, you've got to beat the man. And right now, that man is Triple H. And after WrestleMania, that man will still be Triple H. You might as well hang him up, because when you go one-on-one against the cerebral assassin, you have no chance to win. And just one last thing. Well, actually, let me see if there's a cutscene here before I go with my final Jericho story of the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, see. Look, Kai, you and I have a one-on-one match tonight, and I want you to know, I'm not going to make it easy on you. What about Flair? If I take you down, I could be next in line for a title shot after WrestleMania. I'd expect nothing less from a guy like you, Shawn Michaels. I'm sure that you didn't make a name for yourself in the WWE by half-assing it. It's an honor to be facing off with you tonight, but I expect you to give me your worst. Look, I have no problem with you personally, this is just business. You and I are after the same thing, that's all. I think we respect each other here, but when we get in that ring, you and I both know all bets are off. Oh, come on. Really? Man, the faces in this game always look The faces in this game always look like freaking chumps. Oh no, I'm T-posing. Oh no. So I'm gonna have an injured arm in this match. Yeah, this is definitely... I get that's kind of like a classic thing, especially, you know, speaking of 2000s, that was a thing with The Rock. He usually got his ass kicked every week on Raw until the pay-per-view where, you know, he'd get his comeuppance or whatever. But I mean, jeepers, man. The faces look like jackasses, and they just look like bitches in this game. Must have been a Triple H thing, I don't know. But yeah, the last Jericho story I want to share, it kind of involves Eugene. I think a really entertaining storyline was the night where, you know, Eugene was GM and he had the musical chairs thing. That was just such an awesome segment. I like the Eugene character. I know a lot of people didn't. They thought it was in poor taste, but I think especially at first, they treated it pretty well. Or as well as they could have, anyway. I thought it was entertaining and not in like a demeaning way either. But, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about that. So we are taking on some high-profile talent now. You got that going for us at least. I mean, hopefully after this cutscene, we'll be able to join up with good old HBK. And maybe we'll do like a tag team match. I mean, I kind of want a one-on-one with Ric Flair. That's probably, I'm assuming he's going to be like the sub-boss or something like that. It's also interesting, this was around the time where Shawn Michaels was still wearing those long tights. I always wondered why he changed from like the iconic tights he wears like in this game to the I don't even know the exact, I don't even know what you would call his pants, like the long pants, the baggy Shawn Michaels pants, I guess. I don't know, I thought that was a pretty good Shawn Michaels design too. I don't know if he comes up with his own stuff, I'm assuming so, but yeah, he's Shawn Michaels has probably some of the best attires in WWE, in my opinion, wrestling. Simple, but complex at the same time, and fit his character so well. Was that his back finishing? Man, not even a 1 count. Pitiful. By the way, in the comments, I think I gave you a challenge already. I don't, you guys don't always follow them anyway, but my challenge to you, well, not really a challenge, but my question to you for today's video: name your favorite Shawn Michaels attire. That'll be the official question of this video, of the day. Favorite Shawn Michaels attire. I got scared for a second there. Oh, gee. How did I not see him? Oh, come on! Jeez! Ric Flair is just kicking my ass this entire story mode. This is ridiculous. I didn't even have the damaged arm that match either, so I don't know what the point of that was. Since one of my responsibilities around here is to maintain order, it seems I need to address a little issue that concerns you three gentlemen. Triple threat? It seems like all three of you have the same aspirations in mind, and that's a problem. See, Kai earned his title shot fair and square when he won the Royal Rumble. In fact, the only way that he could possibly lose his opportunity to face Triple H at WrestleMania would be if he were injured and unable to perform. So keeping that in mind, and keeping in mind that another significant part of my duties as GM is to ensure that we keep our fans entertained, here's what I have in mind. I see a match. Yes, next week. I see it now. You, Kai, versus Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels versus... Uh-oh. Who is it? World Heavyweight Champ Triple H in a fatal 4-way. Now don't worry, Kai. Clearly, we must play by the rules. So regardless of who wins, you will not lose your title shot. But as to what shape you show up in at WrestleMania, that will be up for you four gentlemen to decide. Thank you for joining me this week. Make sure to check out next week's episode on Wrestling Wednesday. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, but above all else, please remember to have a nice day.